And we're live. All right, there we are. Okay, I'll let me take the reins for a second. I'm going to start with the intro. I think that we're supposed to give a few seconds until more people join or not. Just want to make sure that everything's fine. We have Nacho, who is watching us live.
We have Blanca Valencia is watching us live.
Yeah, it says 9 people already.
Perfect.
All
All right. Let's start. So, welcome to today's live. We're really excited about this one. I'm here with my partner, Ian Mount, from The Bubble, and we have a very special guest. Today, we have Miguel Balsa Campos. Miguel, thank you for being with us today. For those of you who do not know Miguel, he runs History of Spain on Substack. This is one of the leading English language newsletters dedicated to Spanish history with over 4,500 subscribers every week. Miguel writes about everything from the pre-Roman tribes of the Iberian Peninsula to the Reconquista to the water engineering secrets of the Alhambra. But what makes his work so special is that he connects history directly to travel. Miguel, your readers don't just learn about Spain, they can also go and experience it, right? So we think that there's a natural overlap between what you do and what we do at The Bubble. So today we want to explore that. Again, welcome. We're very happy that you're here with us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to receive your invite. I always like listening to podcasts, so I felt very flattered to think of myself as the guest in one of them.
Of course, and unfortunately for you, this is probably also not the last time that you're going to be joining us for a live. So hopefully this is the first of many that we'll be doing in the future. But before we begin and we start talking about your Substack, Miguel, why don't you just tell us a bit about yourself? Where are you from? How did History of Spain start? What was that moment that made you think, okay, I have to start writing about this?
So I'm from Bilbao. I was born in Pamplona, but I grew up in Bilbao. And I've always had a passion to understand the context of what surrounds me. And that grew meeting people from abroad, because a lot of people would ask me about things, or I would just notice when I met international people that some things that were obvious to me were not obvious to everyone about the heritage or the history, etc. So since I really like writing and explaining things to people, I started the Substack. Basically, in the beginning, it was called The Northern Spaniard, and it was focused on northern Spain because there's like a growing demand on tourism in northern Spain. So I wanted to make it a bit accessible because I feel there's a lot of maybe international content for Andalusia or Madrid, but not so much for northern Spain. So it started like that. But then I realized I didn't want to limit myself to it because there's so much to tell about Spain. And I also thought Spanish history is a topic that I'm never going to run out of ideas about.
That's true.
I said, okay, sounds like a better idea. And then I also noticed people wanted to read about Andalusia as well and stuff, which I thought maybe was already covered by content in English. But since I realized there's not actually that much easily accessible content about Spanish history in English, I even browsed online and was surprised by the little amount of resources I could come up with. So then I decided to start this one on Substack, and I mean, it's working pretty well.
Yeah, that's the other question that I have for you. I mean, what kind of reader goes to your Substack? What's your typical reader? Is it people who are just planning a trip? Is it people who are from abroad living here? Is it Spanish people who love to read about Spain in English?
So
I feel the answer to that is going to be just yes. To all of his questions.
Yeah, I mean, I realized also, because I receive my own newsletter and my Gmail is in Spanish, it comes in Spanish, like automatically translated. So I feel any Spanish person can actually read the newsletter as well automatically. Yeah. But majority of the people that reach out to me or message me are not from Spain, are usually retired people or maybe around 40s. The majority of the audience is from the US. And I noticed a lot of them actually live in Spain, and they're interested in knowing a bit more about it in English, of course. But also a big part of it is people who are planning a trip to Spain and wanna know a bit more about where to go, or what are they going to see when they land in Spain, or why things look the way they look, etc.
Yeah. So, Ian, if you want to, I talk a lot. So if you want to jump in, and if you want to interrupt me, please go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted
it's
to
just
jump in briefly to sort of introduce the bubble for those of us, those who are, we're cross-pollinating here. The bubble started, this version of the bubble, I should say, started about, is this 3 years ago? Are we really on to 3 years now?
3 years and 3 months.
Good God. Anyway,
Oh,
we wanted to the newsletter came out of an answer to a question. You're always told as an entrepreneur to solve a problem that you have, and Adrian and I are both journalists, and finding out what actually happened in Spain at any one moment requires reading about 15 newspapers, because everyone sort of belongs to a political party, so you have to triangulate or whatever a 15-sided um, a 15-sided figure has. So we decided to put it together to be able to give other people the solution to our own problems. And oddly enough, people seem to really want to understand in a quick, fast, and sometimes funny version of what's going on in Spain. And yes, we also our readers are in mostly, I believe, probably mostly Americans, but people in the U.S., Spain, and the U.K. as well.
Yeah, we have most of our paying subscribers are in the US, for sure.
They're from the US or in the US?
They're in the US.
Oh, interesting.
In the US.
Yeah. So there's a lot of interest in understanding Spain inside the United States, which makes sense. I think that in the last few years, Spain has been gaining a lot of notoriety internationally. Sure. So it's not just about tourism or visiting the US or Spanish culture, but also politics, the economy, etc. So if
I feel it's
those
very noticeable in Spain how it's become way more popular abroad in the last 5 years, approximately.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
Barcelona was always popular, let's say, and Madrid. But even in Madrid, you can tell. But in a city like Bilbao, like 5 years ago, there was no tourism. Like maybe some people came to take pictures of the Guggenheim, and that was it. And now, like there's been times that I go to a restaurant and I'm the only local eating there. Like, and that happened in 5 years. It's crazy the amount of exposure the north of Spain is getting. But I think it applies to all of Spain, though.
Yeah. I lived in Barcelona before moving to Madrid. I lived in Barcelona from 2013 to 16. And that was always, as you said, very popular with foreign residents and people. There were a lot of sort of Dutch tech workers who wanted to surf. I mean, it has a very specific sort of Venn diagram. But when I moved to Madrid in 2016, I was not one of few, but not many. I mean, it was not the sort of like, it didn't have the attraction for Americans and others to come and live here as it does now in the last, like you said, since COVID or just around that time.
Kind of,
yeah. Well, I am the outlier here. I'm from Mallorca, so we've always sort of like had an enormous amount of tourism, and that doesn't seem to be changing at all. On the contrary, it just keeps going up to a point where I don't even know how we're gonna all fit inside of the island. But hey, the more the merrier, I guess.
Well, I mean, just learn some German and you'll be fine.
No, yeah, I'm getting there. Hopefully soon I'll be able to just like communicate. That's gonna be the native language. The way things are going very soon. So, but anyway, I digress. Miguel, I wanted to ask you again. This is kind of like a good segue because you know that a lot of people who come to Spain, they come here on vacation and they're always picturing these incredible beaches and Tinto de Verano and going out with people in the evenings, etc. But is there one location or one destination that you feel is in Spain and is criminally underrated?
Yeah, I would say Toledo.
Toledo.
I think Toledo, it does have tourism.
Holy Toledo. All right.
It does have tourism, but I think it's criminally underrated if you're interested in Spanish history or culture.
Right.
Yeah.
That is
It's a
true.
small town,
but it's so much history there, and it's such a medieval place.
The biggest density of history per square meter in all of Spain is probably in Toledo. But since it doesn't have any modern leisure appeal, neither like beautiful beaches or anything like that, it's not that visited unless you really have an interest in it. And I think that also maybe prevents it from getting tourism who wouldn't appreciate it. But it certainly doesn't get the city enough credit for the amount of heritage you can enjoy there.
Interesting, and considering it's so close to Madrid, you would think that
that's why it still has some people, and also has the AVE, like the fast speed train that you can get you to Madrid in half an hour. But still, when people go to Spain, it's usually history is usually just a part of the deal. They're just going for nice food, maybe some nice landscape, some light nightlife. And Toledo doesn't really offer that. It's only focused on
right.
No, I'm I would I mean, I'm probably exaggerating, but I would say almost no one stays overnight in Toledo. That they go visit for the day and then they return to Madrid.
Exactly.
True. I never stayed overnight in Toledo. That is very true.
I never have either. But I could have voted for another criminally underrated place would be Leon for me. I went to Leon. It was incredibly fun, like surprisingly so.
Yeah, Leon is very nice.
I was baffled.
Is there?
And it has El Cid. It has El Cid. Good gastronomy, good wine. It has El Cid. What else do you want? On beach, I guess. But
that is true. Miguel, is there any place that you feel was underrated and is either now up and coming or has become like this hidden gem that everyone knows about now?
So I think it depends what you're looking for. I would say gastronomically, northern Spain is getting, especially the Basque Country, is getting a lot of credit. But I feel compared to nearby regions, maybe too much credit, because the gastronomy is a bit different, but it's not so different from what you would get maybe in Asturias or Galicia, let's say. So in that sense, I feel the north is getting a lot of credit compared to like the increase in traction is higher than the rest of Spain. So I would say I noticed that. And historically as well, I think Asturias is very interesting, and the whole northern coast is. Many regions have their own mythology. For example, like a whole completely mythology just based on a really small region that is maybe 100 miles wide. So that's very unique about the north, and also the Camino de Santiago. I feel is becoming very.
It is becoming increasingly popular, isn't it? I am talking to a lot of people who say that they want to do it somehow. Either they are planning on doing it or say that they would love to do it someday in their lives.
Yeah. I even realize a lot of people don't know that it is a pilgrimage route. Like they just heard it's the Camino and they're like, oh yeah.
It's a nice walk. Yeah.
It's a nice, or people don't realize like the Camino de Santiago means St. James Way, like because St. James is meant to be buried at the end of the Camino.
Yeah.
And it's
or at least one of his fingers or something.
Yeah. It's like the legend, let's say, is that he's there. I don't know really the logistics about it. But a lot of people don't realize they're like walking towards, let's say, the tomb of St. James. But I think it also, you don't need to be a Catholic to enjoy it, I guess. I haven't done it.
No, of course.
My girlfriend has
done
the last step, like the last stage, which is like 100 kilometers. And she said it's just like spiritually, like just walking disconnected from daily life. It's just good itself.
I've also heard that it's a great opportunity to meet people and to become friends with people that otherwise you would never come across in your life.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, I realized I've actually run it twice, which is a strange thing to do. But I
Oh, really?
covered sort of 50 kilometers a day. And one of the days, because we wanted to end at San Sebastian to eat, we went backwards. So I realized I was running away from salvation. Very, very, aggressively. So I hope that doesn't, reflect on me when on Judgment Day. But anyway,
So,
I wanted to get one thing we were talking about doing, and I mean, what the big question I want to get to is to ask Miguel is was Atlantis in Spain, and if so, can we visit? But that's a whole different historical
of
question.
course it is, Ian. It's already been
We're
proven
getting to this.
scientifically. It's in
We're
Doñana,
getting there.
and you're not taking this away from me. You're not taking this one away from me. It's in our country. Do not try to steal that.
All of you have seen the guy who claims to have found it, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're very much. For those of you who do not know, it's not just one guy. I mean, there's been several people. There's several documentaries on Disney Plus actually about the fact that, based on all of these studies and Plato's dialogues and whatever information they could just extract from there are people who have come to the conclusion that Atlantis, the lost continent of Atlantis, was actually near Cádiz in Doñana,
Or
which of course is
Gadir, right?
yeah. It's a very. I mean, hey, you know what? I'll take it. I mean, if that means that
I'll take it as well, happily.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that the science is definitely not settled on that.
I mean, what I saw is that they claim that in the original myth, Atlantis is actually based there by references of the Strait of Gibraltar and the columns of Hercules.
The columns of Hercules, yeah.
But what people are saying is it's just like fishing pond, like an artificial fishing pond rather than an underwater city.
Right.
Who knows? Cádiz is one of the oldest cities in Europe. It's older than Rome itself. So probably there's something going on in that area. But I would love to see an underwater city in Spain, but
me too. Yeah,
let's see.
I mean,
we'll get there soon.
I'll be happy. Yeah, the way things are going.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But one thing we were. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, go for it.
One thing we were talking about doing, Miguel, was we were interested in as people are now sort of planning their summer vacations, and a lot of people, as we know, millions, in fact, will come to Spain. And we thought it might be fun to sort of design a summer trip that combined obviously fun and Spain, but also history, as you read about this. So some places you would, there's whatever. There are a few places without history in Spain. So this gives us many options. But we'd love to sort of design one if we could all sort of put one together.
Itinerary. I mean,
it is.
The first thing I'd like to say is that many people, when they're traveling to Spain, don't realize it's actually a quite big country. It's the second biggest in the EU by territory. It's bigger than any other country than than France. So still it's quite small compared to America, like, countries like the US, even Argentina has times sizes of Spain. So, but it's still a big country. You can drive, like, this is the north from Santiago to Barcelona, maybe it's 11 hours driving. So it's not like you can just hop town to town. And also there's a lot of density of things to see. Like in a 100-mile drive, you can probably stop 10 times or 20 times to see different towns. So that's also something to keep in mind. Then I would also say it depends what you're looking for as well, because history, you're going to find it practically everywhere in Spain. So it depends also on the other kind of experiences you're after. Maybe you want more greenery, more surfing, I would go in the north. If you want some nice beach, nice coast, like Mediterranean vibes, definitely don't go to the north. I'm an advocate for Mallorca's heritage because I think it's heavily underrated. the history of the island is so overlooked by the people who go there. But
We have
I
such an
understand.
interesting mixture and combination of cultures.
Yeah,
It's
people are not going there
insane.
for culture, many of
No.
them. So that's
No.
if you're going to Mallorca, do go visit the things. Because the other day I saw someone saying like, "Oh, I can't believe there's a castle in Mallorca." I'm like, man, what were you expecting
What?
about an island in the middle of the Mediterranean? Like,
Also, you're in Spain. This is the land of like a million castles.
yeah.
What?
But an itinerary, I would say, really depends how many days you're going. For sure, if you're going to Madrid and you have enough time, please go to Toledo. It is true, it's going to be very hot, probably. So keep that in mind as well. Then it would be probably a better visit for October or maybe spring. But if you're in Madrid, it's definitely, if you're after that fairy tale old town, you're not going to find it in Madrid. In Madrid, there's barely any ancient things because they were simply the capital of Spain was in Madrid until like a bit less than 500 years ago. So if you're looking for things earlier than that, you're not going to find much in Madrid.
Right.
Muslim
This is not Rome. This is very much not Rome.
Right.
He's not
Craig,
wrong, yeah.
Craig, we have a question here. One listener, Craig, says, "Is Toledo hilly?"
Yeah, it's only hilly. Basically, yeah, it's
True.
only
Get
like
ready to go
You
up
climb
and
up
down.
to get to it, and then you assume,
yeah.
Miguel, I have a question since we're now discussing old ancient history. But I wanted to touch quickly on something you wrote about because I think that the Reconquista is a term that people throw around a lot. But you've said that we may have had more a series of local wars with different narratives than a unified project, right?
Yeah.
And that the term itself is actually a relatively modern creation. So, what do you think that people get wrong the most about this period?
So I think it's quite difficult to understand it really. Some people even call it the longest war in human history because if you take into account the moment it begins until it ends is 700 years or more. So that's a lot of time really. So we shouldn't look at it. It's called Reconquista because they're saying the Christians conquered back the land that was taken by the Muslims at the time.
Right.
So that's why the term Reconquista comes from. But it's not like a single entity who got the land conquered and then conquered it back. We should think of many scattered kingdoms. One of the most prominent in the beginning of the Reconquista is the Kingdom of Leon, which ruled kind of Asturias as well. And that's where the famous original Battle of Covadonga begins and all that, which is also argued if it's actually legendary or if it happened. But then in that time from the beginning of the Reconquista to the conquest of Granada, which is the end of it, and it happens on this very same year where Christopher Columbus goes to America, there's a lot of evolution. If we look at the difference in politics we're getting in a decade currently, things were not so fast paced, but think of 700 years.
Yeah.
From the beginning to the end, things changed so much. Because
the Reconquista is more like a historical period rather than an event. That's the thing, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I would call it like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not like a war that you go and conquer a city and that's it. It's a process where things evolve, and in the meantime, even like it went from north to south. But in the meantime, the things that were happening there after let's say the threshold went down, things still kept changing in the kingdoms that were Christian at the time.
Is there a moment in Spanish history that you think that usually might get overlooked internationally, or is it the Reconquista, or do you think that there's anything else?
I think on like contrary, I would say the Spanish Civil War is often, in my opinion, given too much importance trying to understand Spain, because it
Right.
does explain people's opinions. Like if you go to Spain and you speak with people, it helps you understand where they're coming from with their opinions, and but it's not explaining why the Giralda is there in Sevilla. You know,
Right.
like
Right.
you're
It's
not
it's
gonna.
3 years out of
It's
of
3 years out
millennium.
of 100
Yeah.
years. Yeah, like you're not gonna land in Toledo or in Sevilla, look around and understand what you're looking at from the Civil War. You know.
Right.
We have another question here. Craig asks, is there a decent Reconquista book in English? I have an idea, but why don't you
I don't
say
know.
what you could say first?
You may know.
There's one I think is very good. It's actually after the Reconquista. It's about the last sort of Moriscos and being when they were sort of expelled. It goes, I think, from the end of the Reconquista up until like 1570, 1580. It's called Blood and Faith. It's a really excellent book, and I think I learned more about Spanish history in Spain reading that than reading the I don't know, than reading Civil War books.
Nice.
So let me see. I can tell you who it's from. But
Well, in the
it's a
meantime,
very good book.
while you look that up, Ian, I have another question. I have so many questions for you, Miguel. This is why I'm saying that we're
It's
probably going to have
it's
to
by
do.
Matthew Carr.
There you go, Matthew.
I'm going to put the
More
I'm going to put I'm going to put something in here to Blood and Faith by so
Fantastic.
people see it. Anyway,
Miguel, I as I said, I have another question for you again about destinations and unexpected places. I think that I guess besides Toledo, can you think of a place that is in Spain and that is so historically rich that when you are coming to visit here, you as a foreigner visiting Spain, you would have never expected to see that?
Yeah, I mean, I made a little list of places that kind of match that criteria, and a brief explanation on why. So I'm gonna name a few now.
Go for it.
So first one I would say Salamanca. Salamanca hosts the oldest university in Spanish in the world. It's one of the oldest in the world in general, not just in Spanish, dating
Universidad de
back
Salamanca.
to the year 1218. And it's also very important because one of the people that came from there is Francisco de Vitoria, who is a man who defended the rights of the indigenous people found in America when Spain went there. So he has a statue in front of the UN headquarters in New York because of the importance he had on human rights, on the first stages of human rights.
Yeah.
Then I would say Asturias because of the Reconquista, and also some experts say that Oviedo, because after Toledo, which was the capital of the Visigothic kingdom, which is what came between the Romans and the Muslims, they fled north. So some people say that the Romanic architecture in Oviedo, in Asturias, is the closest thing to how Toledo looked back then. So if you were interested in understanding how ancient, like not ancient, but like pre-Muslim Spain looked like, it's a cool idea to visit Oviedo. It's not the same, but it's the closest thing apparently.
I did not know that. That's
in
very
Leon,
interesting.
Leon has a cool thing. Sorry?
Yeah. No, go on. I was going to say after this, we have another question directly for you. Miguel, can you talk about Atapuerca in Burgos?
Oh, yeah.
About history and prehistory.
I'll mention these at the end, let's say. So León has a saying that is, León tenía reyes antes que Castilla leyes, which means León had kings before Castile even had laws, because the kingdom of León, which is quite overlooked compared to the importance of Castilla, which makes sense because Castilla expanded and absorbed León. But it didn't absorb Leon, but kind of, it shaded it a bit because Castilla was the main
I have a
player.
funny story about that. We can go. I want to go back to that afterwards.
But
Keep going.
Leon had the earliest parliament in global history, apparently. So it's even before the US. So it's like a very important thing if you're into that.
Right.
And yeah, basically, also, very interesting topic. The Holy Grail is believed to be in Leon.
Yes, I read about this too. But we
So
cannot be really. I mean, we choose to believe
the Holy Grail to Atlantis.
We choose to believe that we have the Holy Grail and Atlantis. I choose to believe. I mean, as an Indiana Jones fan, I'll take it.
I mean, we're never going to be sure about many things, but the thing about the Holy Grail, there is evidence for believing it could be that, how do you call it? A grail. What? Sorry, obviously, I was
a relic or something. Yeah,
a relic.
Yeah,
a holy relic.
There is a grail there that it could be believed to be the Holy Grail for some evidence, but it's not so clear. So
yeah. Now there are several in the world, and they all compete against each other. They say you lie, mine is the real one.
Well, that's like there's always like a toothpick of bone that's like from Jesus's left pinky that I think there's in Civi or something like that, right? So.
Yeah.
Or the nails for the cross. Yeah. That's also a thing. They're still sold on eBay.
Like, Camino.
There's like 500 nails, though. I mean, by the time.
It's not the Camino de Santiago, but there's a Camino Lebaniego in Cantabria. That is a pilgrimage route as well, and it leads to. It's meant to be a piece of the cross where Jesus was crucified, and it's also it's not equally important as the Camino de Santiago for the historic reasons, because the Camino de Santiago brought a lot of influence from Europe to Spain. But I believe Catholically is equally comparable to it for the importance.
Wow. Yeah, I did not know that.
It's quite short.
Going back to Leon, on the Camino in Leon, there'll be the signs every few kilometers, Castilla y Leon, and Castilla y will be crossed out all through Leon, because the Leoneses are not, huge fans of Castilla. They're like, Leon is Leon. It's not the second half of something else.
I mean, even in the coat of arms of Spain, they're separate. There's multiple kingdoms there. If you ever anyone hearing us, if you look at a coat of arms of Spain, you can see in the middle there's 4 flags in a big coat, and they're separate. Castilla and Leon. They're not merged.
They're not together. Right. Atapuerca. I don't want to leave people hanging.
Yes. Atapuerca. I have it here. So Burgos is very important because it has a very relevant, how do you call it in English? Like yacimiento site.
Architectural site.
Archaeological site where they found many important things from like prehistoric people. The most important, I believe, has the same name as me, Miguelon. Is the cranium of like the skull of I think it's the oldest skull ever found in the world, like 500,000 years old or something like that.
That is old,
and it's very complete. It has also Burgos has a museum dedicated to this that is very nice in my opinion. It's called the Museo de la Evolución Humana, so Human Evolution Museum in Burgos City Center. And they explain really well why this site is so important, because it has multiple chambers. There's the Cima de los Huesos, which is a chamber where the bones of many animals ended up there because they fell and they couldn't get out and died there or something. So something similar to these, and this preserved really well the pieces and the fossils that would later enable scientists to understand what was going on back then in the Iberian Peninsula. And is one of the most important prehistoric sites in Europe. So if you're interested in that, Burgos is actually located 2 hours away from Madrid. So it could be a cool visit as well. And the cathedral, of course, is amazing.
Yeah.
Also, if you're interested in early history, in Cantabria, they have something that people nickname it the Sistine Chapel of prehistoric art, which is Altamira.
Right.
It's from 15,000 years ago. And there's really vivid bisons painted in the ceiling of a small cave. You cannot visit the actual cave for conservation reasons, but there's a exact replica that you can walk through with a guide. And it's amazing. They call them the earliest artists in history. We don't know, but definitely the paintings that you can find in Altamira are extremely well defined, and it will leave you speechless if you go.
Okay.
Oh.
Talking about cathedrals, we've got a question about religiosity in today's Spain. Where it's at and
I mean,
where it's going.
I think it depends a lot on the region you go to and the demographic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the biggest demographic for it would be older women.
Mm-hmm.
In general, like most grannies are like believing in God, whereas maybe people, let's say under 40, are not so religious. It also would depend. Probably in Andalusia, you would find more religious people than maybe in Madrid or Barcelona, I would say.
Yeah, you get to see that during the Holy Week, right?
Yeah,
it's an extremely Catholic. Catholicism is clearly a very, very strong part of their lives.
Also in ideology, I guess more conservative people tend to be more Christian. In Spain, I know in English, Christian and Catholic are usually considered separate, but this is important if you're going to Spain. When we say Christian, we mean Catholic, because there's practically only Catholic people in Spain.
Right.
So we use them as synonyms, where I noticed in English is not done like that.
Yeah.
But
well, there is actually there's a growing amount of sort of evangelical people here, but that's largely from Latino immigrants.
Yeah.
We've seen that. We've seen a big congregation here in Madrid a few days ago.
Oh,
so definitely growing.
It's mostly Latino immigrants and Dani Alves, who's sort of become a preacher since leaving Barcelona.
Yeah, born again evangelical, I guess.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know how to say wouldn't know what to say about the state of Spain. Like, it's definitely less religious than a few decades ago, for sure, or a century ago.
Ian, we have like 2 more minutes. So
will they cut us off?
If there's any other questions, if there's any other questions,
but we're having fun. But we're having fun.
Hey, I am willing to stay here until like 10 p.m. I don't know. I have like 50 questions. So
all right. How about 3 events or 3 festivals? 3 things you'd see. 3 festivals, 3 events. Not the. I mean, or it could be the tomato festival. But I mean, one of the. What would you?
Tomato festival. La tomatina, Ian, please.
La tomatina.
Just no.
Dale, la tomatina.
So, I mean, there's many really quirky festivals in Spain. Craig, my site is called History of Spain on Substack. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with
that. We'll plug it at the end. Don't worry.
We'll make a call to action.
So I think San Fermin is a very quirky festival. You get bulls running basically from corral. I don't know how I would call this, like a small place where they're held overnight.
It was like a playpen, something like that.
Yeah. So during the festivity of the city, it's a week long, and every morning they free the bulls to run through the city until the bullfighting arena.
Right. So people do die, though.
People do die.
People do die. So if people are listening and they're thinking of going, just know that it's not like, haha, I'll just run around while the bulls chase me happily. No, this is like a dangerous
One rule. One
experience.
rule: when you fall down, don't get back up. That was the one thing I've told. That's when people get killed.
Yeah,
Way out
that's smart advice.
So for the people who are not aware of this, is basically the bulls run through the old town of the city from one spot to the other, and people run in front of them, guiding them, kind of, but also as a sort of sporty challenge,
sort of slapping them.
For some reason. And I mean, they're a breed of bull that is kind of used for bullfighting because of the qualities, like the size, etc. And I've never attended it, but my friends went partying in San Fermin the whole night, and in the morning they were intended to run, and then they saw the actual bulls, like they saw the size, and they're like, "Oh hell no! Like we're not running in front of that."
Yeah, it's
I went once and I did not run, but I did talk to a lot of people who did run, and this probably will not surprise you, but the people who've been running for like 30 years complain that it's not like it used to be. Because, and this is very funny, there's the Telefonica turn. I don't know if you know the race. There's a big turn in front of the Telefonica building, where the bulls usually slide and sort of crash into the wall. But they've painted it with non-stick paint, or non-slip paint, so they can go around the turn at high speed. So it's less chaotic than it used to be. It's more sort of a high speed sprint.
Well, at least the bull's not getting hurt.
Level of madness.
At least the bull's not getting hurt.
No, but it is getting hurt. They get killed at the end of the day.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why you're never gonna catch me dead in one of these things.
Yeah, me neither. I know people who like it, but I'm not.
Yeah,
for it.
I'll pass. Thank you. Okay. Any other festival you can think of, Miguel?
I think it's quite interesting in Spain. Like, you are not guaranteed, but it's likely anywhere you go, any time of the year, you're going to bump into something. I remember, probably you know about this one in Mallorca. I go to Mallorca every summer because my granny's
I thought your mother was from Mallorca.
My mom was born there, but she didn't grow up there. But my granny fully grew up there, and we go
Palma?
there every summer. In Palma.
Nice.
But we go to Palma Nova.
Oh, okay.
We have an apartment there. And like in the summer, I bump into this festival with people with masks as demons, things with fire. You know,
the night of the demons, basically. That's
like I don't find these things anywhere.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite festivals, actually. I mean, there's a lot of fire and people are wearing these super creepy demon masks. But it's really one of the biggest traditions in Mallorca. You know, demonis they're kind of like an intrinsic part of Mallorcan culture. It's fascinating.
So I feel you can go anywhere in Spain and bump into something quirky like these, stemming from like the pre-Catholic times. Now I'm analyzing in the newsletter. I'm doing a series about ancient Spain, where I'm talking about the peoples who lived in Spain around 300 BC. I'm saying Spain, I mean the Iberian Peninsula.
Right.
So there's really interesting things, because some people were developed and had maybe a trade network. Other people were just like in a small settlement minding goats or something like this. So it's very interesting to analyze the state of the Iberian Peninsula at the time before the Romans, because a lot of the traditions we're mentioning now stem from maybe not those times exactly, but kind of stem from something quite older than Catholicism. So they just made their way into the culture, and they still happen. And for example, in the Basque Country, there's traditions. Now they're substituting them for fake animals, but there's a tradition where in a town they hang a goose from a rope, and someone has to jump, grab it under the arm, and bounce until the neck breaks and they fall in the water. Like there's these things.
There's also the
happening
goat one.
in different small towns.
Where you threw the goat from the tower. Yeah, thank God we're not doing that anymore, huh?
Yeah, so.
And there's the one in Catalonia where they used to light the bull's horns on fire and then kick them out to run around the
Toro
city.
de Fuego.
We're trying to make some progress, guys. We're slowly progressing. We had 40 years of dictatorship. Just understand
now they
us.
use like a fake goose. I think it's made of rubber.
Yes.
So,
and the goat thing, we're not throwing the goats from the towers anymore, which is definitely a step in the right direction.
It's just very exciting also that I feel I'm never going to understand all of Spain. Like if
100%. No,
if I put my mind to it for all my life, I'm never going to understand it because there's so like 10 kilometers between two towns that may have whole different tradition.
But that's what makes it so fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's...
If you go to some small town in Albacete, you're going to, like 2 weekends ago, you would be like surrounded by the city festival and you wouldn't, totally baffled by the history of it.
Yeah. I actually love the verbenas. To me, that's a great way of experiencing every little town, and the kind of like collective, the feeling of this sort of like collective partying and just like staying up until sunrise. Probably one of my favorite activities doing in the summer. When I go to Mallorca, just go like each little town has their own verbena, and you just go and party on the weekend and stay until like 6, 7 in the morning, and everyone is still awake. Everyone is still dancing on the streets and drinking and fireworks, and it's when it comes to festivals, I'm pretty sure that's my favorite thing to do in the summer here in Spain.
I think it's a very nice thing about Spain that is like a party that is not a clubbing experience. It's just like an outdoor mingling during the night. And obviously there's usually alcohol involved. But there all the people from a small town mingle. They just mingle and talk to each other because maybe you don't see your friend because of responsibilities, etc.
You've moved away, and
exactly. But during these festivities in each town that happen yearly, people just gather no matter what, and it's important for locals to be there because they know they're going to catch up with everyone. So it's a very beautiful thing about the culture.
Yeah, no.
And it's definitely.
I think.
Sorry, Ian, we haven't
every small town. I was saying that I think every small town in Spain probably has a comparable tradition. I mean, I know in Segovia, all the small towns in Segovia, there's a week in August or 5 or 6 days when every night it's bang, bang, bang.
I think every municipality has this in Spain, or I would say most of them. Definitely around Bilbao, every municipality has one, and it's funny because sometimes I see ads from the government, from the Basque government. They have an app where you can. It's called Hayak, which means parties in Basque, and it tells you where is the party every weekend.
That's a great idea.
Thank God. Yeah.
Seeing the taxes put on work and something,
Yeah. Your tax dollars at work. I love it. I'm a big fan.
That's a great way of spending tax money.
It's a good place to visit if you're going to Madrid as well. I hadn't mentioned it before.
What is?
Segovia.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We have one more question before we should probably wrap, sadly. But a question here about: could you compare Lascaux, Ribadesella, and Altamira? It says got to visit Ribadesella.
Can you compare Lascaux and Altamira?
I know you guys are seeing these questions. I'm not seeing these questions. I'm not seeing anything at all.
I haven't been to these other two caves. Ribadesella is a town in Asturias, but I haven't seen if there's any site around. I haven't been to it, but it's a beautiful town to visit as well. Llanes as well.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we need to wrap up, guys. It's almost 7 p.m. It's been a fascinating conversation, Miguel. We're definitely going to ask you to come back.
I'd love to.
But thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Before we go, please remind people watching where they can find you. What's the best way to start reading history of Spain if they're new? And is there anything coming up in your newsletter that you'd like to tease?
So you can find me as History of Spain on Substack. I'm not on Instagram or anything, just on Substack. So yeah, it's probably going to come up. And currently we're analyzing ancient Spain in a series. We've already moved around Central Iberian Peninsula and the south. We're analyzing now the East Coast. So it's a good moment to join because we're about to go about the Dama de Elche, which is a very ancient statue found in Spain from obviously pre-Roman times. But if you don't just want to read these, I also have some itineraries that you can check. Just you can scroll in the newsletter page. You'll see all the things I've published. I wrote about the Visigoths. I have an itinerary for mythological art in Madrid. I have an itinerary for architecture. So I write these things. I also have a gastronomic newsletter that I don't pay enough attention to, which is called Flavors of Spain.
Oh, there you go. That's a perfect excuse to talk again. Let's talk about food, which we can talk about for hours.
Yeah.
We can do it in restaurants. 3 guys to different restaurants.
Yes. We get some samples.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody else will be telling us to shut up, but that's okay.
If you want to just read about any other topic but ancient Spain, you can just see the ones I wrote in the thing, and hopefully.
And you're writing a book about Basque history, right?
Yeah. I'm writing a book. It's kind of halfway already about Basque whaling. This is quite random, but I didn't know there's UNESCO site in Canada reflecting Basque whaling from the 1500s. So I was researching it a bit, and I started writing a book. It's kind of like a narrative, but it's not a novel. So it's usually each chapter starts with a little narrative piece and then explains the rest of like the topic. So I wanted to write it because I realized I have some funny inputs about why whaling could have started in the Basque Country, which one of them is the fact of a bilbainada. It's a term used in Bilbao to describe some stupidly big thing to do that it doesn't make any sense. So this is reflected in many things. The traditional sport is lifting stones or chopping trees, you know. So this kind of culture is just prolonged into the sea, into looking at a 40-ton whale and saying, yeah, I can take that down.
I can take it. I can take it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
have you ever?
I think it starts there. And then obviously, I mean, it's sad to look at, obviously, from our perspective, because I didn't grow up seeing whales because of these. So that's quite sad. But it's a very interesting story because it's also the earliest shipwreck found in North America, north of Florida, is a Basque whaling ship.
Yeah.
So it's a really important piece of world's history that is not known even in its own coast, like
right.
So it's very, very unknown, and it's a really interesting story. And I'm writing a book about it. Hopefully, it's nice to read. Let's see. It's the first book I'm writing. I never wrote a book, so
good stuff. Well, we can plug it here when it's ready.
Have you ever read what's it called, The Basque History of the World by Mark Kurlansky? There's a book that he sort of defines the Basque culture as like the foundational culture of the world, and he obviously fell in love with Basque culture. Anyway, you should check it out by Mark. It's called The Basque History of the World.
I mean, the culture can be very random as well, and also the language is very old. I heard it is not so different from ancient Iberian. I don't know, but it's a very isolated language, which is probably the magic of it, that many words reflect realities in a very particular way that we can use to understand how people many years ago looked at the world. For example, the word rainbow It's just like it's called the horn of one of the gods in Basque mythology, because they were not understanding what they're looking at. And it's cool about it that it's not so descriptive, that they're just saying a colorful arch, but they're calling it the horn of a god. And that's the word people use nowadays to describe to call a rainbow. So many words like it explain, like, for example, giving birth means to split in two. So many words are very interesting to look at to understand how people thousands of years ago would look at different pieces of life.
Right.
Super interesting. Definitely, we need a special episode to discuss Basque, for sure. But anyway, it's 7 p.m. This has been a very, very interesting conversation. Thank you so much, Miguel, for
thank you, Miguel,
for taking the
Thank you
time to
guys
talk
for
to
the
us.
invite. I love joining you, and I will be very happy to join you again.
Excellent. History of Spain in Substack, and we are thebubble.com.
Check
which is
them
our
out.
Substack page, which is also the website. And then
follow us on Instagram and the TikToks and all that stuff. You can find us at thebubblecom. That's our username all over.
I really recommend their
on the
newsletter.
socials.
I think it's very nice. You'll get a glimpse of what's going on in Spain without the bullshit, let's say. And
we can swear here. You can say fuck
that's
too.
what we're going
swear?
for.
Okay.
Yeah.
In English, which probably you like as well. So check it out.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
It's been great to talk to you.
Been fantastic.
Thanks, Miguel.
Thank you,
guys. Everyone who joined. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night. Ciao, ciao.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.